Kindle review part 2. Since this is the second time I tried filming this, the first one might be okay, but I was kind of not on my own, so I can talk a little more freely. So if you ever wonder why I'm not talking loud enough, though I do try to fix that in post, it's usually because somebody else is here. I usually start off okay, but sometimes it's like la 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 la. So I kind of like go down. But I do try to fix it, but sometimes you just have to turn up the dial on your own speakers, because I can only do so much on this end. So this shall be my review on the Kindle Paperwhite. Now, I'm not quite sure what version this is, if it's like the brand new just now come out, or if it's like the farther back one, because I get them used. So this is my Christmas present to me. And the other one here. Now, I have just come from the Kindle Touch, and I think I did a review from the keyboard comparing this to the keyboard back in the bowels of my channel. And it just seems funny that I have like 3 Kindles now. I wasn't supposed to have 3 Kindles. I had gotten one because I kind of like the idea of having a much more manageable, book, instead of having like, especially when you have tiny little, hamster hams, even like a paper bag gets a little awkward afterwards. Like, kind of like the idea, so I figured, okay, I'll try and get one. And it ended up being the Kindle, the keyboard, and that was like 40 bucks. And okay, I had it, and I was showing my grandpa there, Ken there, the different features it had, and he's like, I like this idea, get one for me. And there was like a 10-cent difference, and that one ended up being the Kindle Touch. Well, not too long after that, he ended up having a problem with his eye, so he can't really read now. It's hard for him, even more hard for him to see, so this became like a moot point. It's like, well, you might as well take it, I can't use it. So that's the one I've been using, was the Touch, which is just more user-friendly for me because I'm used to dealing with like tablets and phones and that sort of interface. So that was the one I decided to use. But as much as I love my little Touch here, even in like bright light situations, I'm always in that one spot where it's just that smidge too dark where you can't really see anything. It's just a little too dark to read. So I invested in this. And I think this was like 12 bucks on Amazon. That's specifically made for the Touch. And, it's okay. It helped serve its purpose. But it still wasn't quite bright enough. And, the way I kind of, if I'm sitting at the table and I'm doing other things and reading, I kind of have it up, kind of sitting on my phone, so you're not like reading like this. You can actually see it. You kind of blinds you in a way. Still didn't quite solve the problem, but it helped. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm enjoying the Kindle Paperwhite. I kind of looked at in the store, and I'm kind of like, it seemed like it was too much more like staring at a computer screen than a Kindle. So I kind of waffled about it, and then for some weird reason I was back playing on Amazon, and I was looking at the Kindles, and I didn't realize you can adjust the light. And that's the point that sold me on the Paperwhite. The only thing that really annoys me, I don't understand why I have to keep swiping to unlock the stupid. It's like, any idiot can pick it up and swipe the thing to open it. It's not exactly a security feature. That's something you can't turn on and off. I don't understand it. But on the Paperwhite, which this is without the light, so you can see there's quite a bit of difference, and it doesn't blind you like a tablet would. And this little light bulb here lets you adjust it to like normal Kindle to like eye blindingly bright. I usually have it around like 15, 16, but it's a wider background. And I was kind of comparing the two, and it's like, why is one of them pink? This one seems to be a little more pink. But knowing that you could adjust for the circumstance you're in, I'm like, yes. So that has definitely helped. That was a major selling point. And this one, I no, it wasn't shipping, it was like free shipping, but with the tax was $60, so I paid $20 more, which is like, ouch, because you get less product, and I like to get as much as I can for the buck I'm spending. With the pre-Paperwhites, and I'm pretty sure most of them were like this, the Touch and Beyond, has 4 gig, I think, of memory. This has half that, which I think is stupid. I suppose they added more because there is no audio function on the Paperwhite. Am I blinding you with this? I thought we turned them off. Or I could just do this. Okay. There is no audio function on the Paperwhite, where this has the text-to-speech, you can add music, and, you know, it's kind of a nice thing to have, but neither one was. I started using it, the like nature sounds as you're reading, but I usually end up like my phone or whatever electronic device I have now that kind of does the same thing. I never think to use just the Kindle. So those are features that were nice to have, but I never used. This one has the 3G and the Wi-Fi. This one does not. When you buy used, you're never quite sure what you're getting, which for me doesn't matter anyways, because I'm either usually near a Wi-Fi or, you know, I can wait the few hours to go home to get the book. I mean, I can order it, send it to my Kindle, and then, you know, have it later. I don't need my book right that minute. So, that's not really all that important. This, the Touch, has much better battery life. Now, I'm not quite sure if having the Wi-Fi on takes any more battery than having it on airplane mode, which is what I've got it on now. This does not have as much battery life, which again kind of sucks. What this does have has the connection to Goodreads, though you cannot update your reading progress to Goodreads, which is kind of stupid. So I am on Goodreads, Blade Strike, check me out, and you get to see all the weird twisted things I like to read about. So that was kind of nice, though it wasn't like a selling point or anything. There are things on the Paperwhite that I guess instead of the, you know, audio functions, it's kind of geared towards kids. There's something called WordWise. Show easy hints above unfamiliar words when available. I'm sort of fluent in English. I can read a lot better than I speak, so yes. I don't really need that. Show multiple choice hints. When unsure of a correct hint for a word, we'll show you a list of possible meanings and ask you to pick the one that is most helpful. Why would I want this? I could see this if I'm like writing a book and this is something that you could utilize in a word processing program, but not as I'm reading my book. Oh, this should be funny if you're reading the he's not done the Forgotten Realms books. It's like every other word is just a jumble of letters because he never has like simple names for his things. That's why I couldn't get through the stupid first page. That would be a trip on this. And then you have Vocabulary Builder. Remember dictionary lookups and show Vocabulary Builder on the home screen. I can see if you're a little kid maybe learning to read, but you chopped off memory for this crap, really? Let's see. It's on the highest, the software is on the latest update. Device info. Kindle 5.6.1 firmware. There's 522 megabytes free. And I do have a, you know, shit ton of books on here. That's not even including my Star Trek stuff. So yeah, that's sort of a major negative that's nowhere near as much. But, of course, having the other Kindles, you know, I do have like them, you know, I can put those books on another device. You know, they are floating in the nether realms of the, you know, cyber world. So, you know, I mean, you can only read a few books at a time, so it's not like a major issue, but I just like to know that they're there. I don't know, but that's me. Come back here. Let's see. Settings. Device options. No, that's not what I want. Personalize your Kindle. Is this one? there's something in here that's sort of for kids. I can't seem to find it, which is, good for me, but every now and again it'll pop up in the thing. I kind of like the bookmark feature on the Kindle White. Kindle White. Yeah, that's a good idea. The Paperwhite, where it kind of tells you exactly where your bookmark is. Oh, okay. So instead of... Yes. Okay. So instead of trying to touch the corner, which sometimes can be awkward, you actually hit the bookmark button. And I'm reading a library book on zombies you will have a review for later. And mostly everything else is the same. The share is kind of stupid. It just takes you to Goodreads pretty much. You do get more fonts, and that's all the same. It's funny because I can, even with this, how long have I had this? Like a couple of years now. I always want to hit the wrong button. I hit the menu button to turn it off, then try to hit the menu button with the power button, but I'm still trying to, like, there are no buttons other than the on and off, so I'm still kind of like in that learning curve, trying to adjust from one to another. In some ways, once in a while this will kind of hiccup. I guess I read really fast, too fast for the Kindle, so, but the page rate times don't really differ any. The sizes are exactly the same as far as around, but this is half the size thinner, but then I guess you don't have all the meat for the memory and all that stuff. I will still probably utilize this because I do have my, other books on here. And might as well turn you off. So I do kind of keep that to the side. But this is sort of my travel companion now. I'm glad I got it. I don't regret getting it. And it's funny because I think that's why I kind of looked into the Kindles, because I had found the case here from Verso for $1 at the Will. Brand new, never been used, really powerful magnet. I don't know why you'd need a pocket there, but love this. But it's kind of too small for the Kindle, and I'm looking on Amazon, maybe because it's a brand new or new-ish model. The cheapest one you can find is like $30. A cover for the Paperwhite. So, thank you for $1 will. So, it serves its purpose, it keeps it safe and whatever. Now, here's my tip to you who wants to save monies. Especially in like electronic devices, if you know what you want out of your device, and you're not having to deal with like the labels, like, oh, I have to have the latest thing. When a new model comes out, check into the one just before. Those usually go down in price, because there's very little difference between the model that just came out now and the one behind. Maybe a slight software difference, but everything I've read so far, I mean, hardly anything other than like the $20 price tag. It's extra money. So, keep that in mind if you don't have to have the right new, fresh out of the box smell. Look in the older models. Don't go too far back, because sometimes they just don't support things anymore. So, that is my little tip to you. Oh, there was fuzziness behind me. So far, I love the Kindles. I mean, if you read like novels and stuff, like I said in my original video, this is the thing to have. I mean, if you're doing like, there's some books I tried to like transfer over that are a lot more, picture heavy. This ain't gonna cut it, which is kind of sad. So you can't replace those like big hardcover glossy pages books. But if you want to read on the go, Kindles are definitely cool. I've never dealt with like the Nooks, and I think there's like another one. Does Barnes & Noble do the Nook? Probably, aren't they the only bookstore left? So, I don't know. Oh, love my purchases. Of course, I love to read. I am already 3 books in, even though they're kind of tiny books, into my new Goodreads list. I'm aiming for 70 this year. I made 69 last year, and my goal was 60. So, and I guess I'm in a competition. I didn't realize, because Jean's like, yeah, no, and she supposedly beat me out by 10 books. She's like, they have to be like at least 100 pages, and I'm like, if I like it, I'm gonna read it. It's gonna count. I don't care. I want to enjoy the books. I'm not chasing after some goal other than the one I set for myself. But it is fun, and I hope the weather is nicer later on, so I can go back out on my deck. Well, it's still, I suppose, a deck, but it's not like a lovely, humongous thing. And sit in my little chair there, and have my little table, and just to get to read outside. So that was rather enjoyable. I look forward to doing that. So yes, I do like the Paperwhite. I don't think it's right that they have the memory. I don't see the need for that. But then I don't suppose everybody would need 15,000 books in their Kindle, so. I don't know how many people use the audio function, but the text-to-speech, the thing that always annoyed me about that, and I think again I mentioned that in the first one, the way, like I was showing, like you saw me do, it's like they bury things in these stupid lists. You're never quite sure where to access it from, because that little menu list in like the home page is a little different than when you're in a book, and then you don't know which part in the set. It's just not really user friendly as far as where they put things. So the text to speech was always buried in this stupid thing, and it's like, well, if you're having a hard time seeing, how do you see to go through all the menus to do the text to speech? That was like the main thing that with Ken there. So yes, that should still kind of be a function, but it should have been easier to access. Just saying. Alright. I could go on and on like we all know. But yes, I love my Kindles. You can never have too many books or book devices. And I do have the apps. I try to like condense how many places I have my, the Kindle apps, because I'm like, well, if I've got my tablet, I probably have my Kindle, so there's no point in having the app on the Kindle. But sometimes, if you just have your phone and you're like, get me the hell out of here, at least you can read on the Kindle. So it's nice that they have the app too. If you don't actually want the Kindle, you can just have the app. But do take care of trying to read on a, backlit device. Oh, side note, the light isn't really backlit. The light is kind of from below and goes up. So it's not, that's why you're not like staring at a computer screen. So this, less likely to have your eyeballs go boing. So yes. Brain fart. And I also enjoy the fact that you can, look into your digital libraries or your, actual library and ask if they have a digital setup. And most of them should go straight to the Kindle. They're accessed through Amazon. So you're like borrowing the Kindle books. So, if you have one of these and you have a library card, yes. So that's what I've been doing. I've been finding really cool books. Sad I have to give them back though, but you have the option to buy. So, oh well. Thank you for watching. Do remember to comment, rate, share, and subscribe. There's always room for one more at the Strange and Exotic. Happy reading. Bye.